Hey there, folks. My name is Misadventurer, and welcome back to the Icenia campaign. Just making sure I started my recording. I did. That's pretty good. So last time we left off with a cliffhanger. The Trinovantian forces had oddly split themselves into two groups, one heading into Camboritum and certain death at my hands. Yes, I would be attacking into a marsh. However, I have twice their numbers, and that is almost certainly going to be enough to counteract any defensive malices. Plus, the Durotrigan army is gradually making its way into play, so I'm not entirely sure what this army is doing, but once this army is locked, we will be safe to move in. If I started to move before they're locked, they could just cancel the move order, and disaster would befall us. So let's watch this army very closely until they're locked. There we go. Now we can go ahead and move in. Now, our manpower is also maxed right now, so in a bit of a ruthless kind of pragmatic sense, losing some manpower here is actually useful because it means our manpower gain is not wasted against the cap. So let's go ahead and move in. This army will probably turn around and run back towards the marsh to try and save the day, but it will probably be too late. Now let's see what happens here. Our side might win, apparently. Let's see here. Yeah, we have a higher amount of... Okay, now it's looking a bit more likely. Also, weirdly, the Durotrigans have stopped their siege of Pontes. I'm not really sure why they stopped. They were almost there. Maybe they're going for Camulodunum, which would be a little mean of them to just go for it when I'm preoccupied. But if they do, of course, we can wait for them to give us back that siege. Oh, before the battle starts, rival at court. Lately, our tribal chief Donwin Divica has come into conflict with Caeltrim Orgetorus, which is the other general we have in the field right now, so this is not an ideal time to make a rivalry. Their opinions persistently clashing. If one of them says south, the other will promptly say north. If one wants to trade with a neighbor, the other will argue for war. This constant bickering is ruining whatever authority Donwin used to have, and the atmosphere at Venta Econorum is at a breaking point. This is actually a weirdly interesting moment for this eventifier because Caeltrim leads the infantry portion of our army. If he were to become disloyal right now by doing this, well, he wouldn't necessarily become disloyal, but he would become a rival, which would affect his loyalty. He could actually not do this attack, although he is locked in. It could just generally mess up my entire war plan if he becomes a disloyal general, and I can't change him being the general because it's his retinue. So given that, we actually kind of have to go ahead and select this. It'll give him some popularity and lower our popularity. However, we will soon get popularity from winning the war. At least I can aspirationally predict that we'll win the war. So fine, have your will then, Caeltrim. He wins this one. We have engaged the enemy with our cavalry, but our infantry will arrive in a few days. Let's hope that our cavalry can keep it together. Not quite. It's pretty bad in the marsh, but the infantry will get here soon. There we go. Infantry have arrived. And the Durotrigans are arriving probably too late to affect the battle at all, but we appreciate their effort nonetheless. Now let's see how this fight turns out. Battle of Camboritum has concluded. And in the struggle, 181 of our 2,000 troops were killed, but we have killed about double that, 378 troops. And more critically, we have destroyed their morale. Now they are retreating. Okay. Now, let's take a quick look at this scenario here. Now, the other Trinovantian army is probably in Combatrovium because we can't see them. And Combatrovium, I believe, is in the Fog of War. It's a little hard to tell on the graphics themselves, but it's not bordering our land or one of our armies. And it's the only other place the army could be, unless it's somewhere else, which it's not. So... And the Navy is here, so they haven't gone somewhere on the ships. So the other army is here, probably locked into moving into Sinomegas to react to this battle. Now, how do we proceed from here is the question. And this is the kind of slow-paced war grand strategy that I'm all here for, that I hope you're here for as well. Now, Durotriga will arrive in 10 days, or the first portion of their army will. I don't know if the other portion of their army is actually locked as well. Probably not. But either way, I think they're moving together, so they're both going to come this way. So Durotriga will come up to Camboritum, and then we'll be stuck there and have to go somewhere else. Do we make a rush for Camulodunum? Now, it's actually, if we can pick without any other factor influencing it between taking the siege at Camulodunum or at Combertovium, it's actually better to do Camulodunum as it's both the national capital of the Trinovantian nation. And also, because we have a claim on Combertowium, the AI will definitely give us Combertowium if they get the siege before we do. So it's safer for us to go for Camulodunum. It may save us trouble in the long run with our slightly strategically challenged ally here, who, by the way, have not helped at all in the war so far. But we appreciate them being here. It's more about their role in getting the other AI to get kind of scared. So we're going to go ahead and make a move down into Londinium, and then probably move into Camulodunum. But I won't queue up the order quite yet. I need to react very carefully to what the AI armies are doing. Now, in the meantime, while this is going on, let's take a quick look, and I'll watch this slow down so we're not just paused. Let's take a quick look at, actually, I'm getting too nervous to even be slowed down to 1, so we're going to keep paused. I have to be careful with troop numbers this low. I really can't make big mistakes. Also, our manpower apparently didn't go down at all. I think this just hasn't updated yet until the first of the month. Our stability is going back up, even though we're down very low. It is going to gradually rise up over the years, so this won't be a huge deal. This will just affect when we can next change a law or change our omen. Our military experience is also raising from being involved in battles and having the levy raised. Our aggressive expansion currently is nothing. Our war exhaustion is actually at 0.36 already, which is giving us a malice to pop happiness. And so far, the ruler popularity gain hasn't been affected because it's too low. But the monthly military experience bonus is kind of nice. And the ruler zeal lowers that, so basically, while we're in the war, this will keep raising, and as we do battles, this will keep raising. Centralization is ticking up in the background as well. So one question we may have is, should we invest our money in anything? And for now, I will say no. I do want to build a city in Londinium, as well as do some other kind of cultural micromanagement with Londinium. As I've said before, in the long term, I want Londinium to be a bit of a city I invest in and eventually make the capital of our nation. But it's quite expensive to build cities. So we're going to actually save our money, even though we could build stuff in Wenta Icenorum. We could build infrastructure here. There's actually nothing I really need to build right now with a population at only 10, so we're going to leave it alone. Anyways, let's resume. Watch very carefully. Okay, so this other army is not locked. Now we're in Londinium. So again, I think so now that we have, actually we had a view on Camulodunum, so that army is definitely in Combertowium, and that was an army of 1,000. So an army of 1,000 versus our army, actually let's wait for our army to fully link up together because it's split. The infantry have to catch up. Here we go. I may as well actually finish sieging Londinium while I'm here, because I would like to get this under siege. It may also distract the enemy. Where are you going? Okay, Duratriga making more strange decisions. They're wandering off into Kenny land, whatever. Although that's 1,500 men that aren't going to be fighting my enemies, so I'm not pleased about that, but hopefully they get it together. Are you going into Combertowium? I guess you might be. Anyways, let's just siege our location down. We also want our morale to rise back up as it's low. Okay, I think they're in Combertowium for sure. Alright, the Siege of Londinium is finished. We now control... It says the province, but that's incorrect. It's the settlement. The province is a much bigger area. Okay. We killed a pop, basically. So sometimes you capture pops and you turn them into slaves for your nation. However, we only captured one pop who was killed, so nothing too crazy there. We have to be a little careful with super, super low population settlements. You don't want to kill the population that's there through capturing it, and that would depopulate and make it need to be colonized again, which is a huge hassle. So like with Pontes, we do not want people taking Pontes over and over in succession and killing all the pops there. It only has 3 pops. So maybe it's good Duratriga didn't actually occupy Pontes last episode. So Duratriga might be moving to intercept the Trinabantine army, but I genuinely don't know what they're doing. Either way, I think we need to wait for our morale. Let's see here. I think we're going to wait in Londinium because we're right next to Camulodunum. In fact, we'd have to go to Camulodunum or go back into our territory because of the fort's zone of control. Also, we do have a Duratrigan army that's hanging out here as well. I don't know if they're attached to us, but they are here in Londinium. So we have actually about 2,300 men hanging out in Londinium, we should be pretty safe from the weakened army of Trinavantia of, at best, 2,000, but probably a bit less because of that battle earlier. So we're going to wait for our morale to tick back up, and then move in for the siege. And we do know that they're over here. So I think they're going for the army in Combratorium, which is totally fine. Once we know that army is locked in, we're going to be safe to go after Camulodunum. And again, like I said before, Duratriga will give us Combratorium eventually by changing the occupier to us, because we have the claim on it. Hopefully, if they don't right away, we will just wait out that process, but we have no control over that, because of course we can't just go take that land right away. So it is what it is. When you have allies, you have to worry about this stuff. Okay, Branodunum land. A dispute between the clans of Keltrum Orgatoris and Inimicus Urcus has arisen, as both of them want certain valuable land in Branodunum, which, if we recall, is the former port land up here that has salt. Both sides have their claims to the area, and supporting one of them over the other could end up with disloyalty from the spurned clan. Both of the clan chiefs have offered to support the nation with gifts if they are given the region. Keltrum Orgatoris has offered us more troops, while Inimicus Urcus has offered us a donation of gold. Now, Keltrum is the more loyal one, and Inimicus is actually dangerously disloyal. So we may actually go with Inimicus here. Now, I actually also would prefer gold as opposed to, what's this? Local manpower in... Okay, so when it says more troops, it means just in Branodunum. So if we actually look at Branodunum, it has 2 tribesmen and 1 freeman and 1 citizen. How much manpower are we getting from here? 0. So 25% of 0 isn't exactly a big number. In fact, actually... Where are we getting any manpower from? I'm not really sure. I guess it doesn't really display correctly. I can't figure that out on the fly here, but either way, Inimicus with his gift of gold. So this just gives us the bonus for the settlement, and then this one gives us a bonus for the settlement. Local tax of 10% is actually useful in here, because there is some amount of money here. It doesn't display because it's so low, but there is some amount. And he gives us a gift of 13 gold, which is quite nice. That's, let's see here, half a year's worth of income as a gift. So that's pretty solid. And the other effect is it lowers Keltrum's prominence and his loyalty. The lower prominence also improves the loyalty slightly. Inimicus, though, has quite high prominence. He's the character who had better prominence from the start. But this is actually a pretty solid outcome that gives us loyalty with a disloyal clan chief and gives us gold. And the alternative is we split the lands, which annoys both of them. Inimicus Urcus case sounds right. There goes our disloyal character, and we're good to go. Now let's keep a close eye on what's going on over here. Once you're here, once battle is like... There we go, okay. So we're going to go ahead and move into Camulodunum. Oh, no. Why can't we move straight there? Oh, we went into Cinemagus. That's right. That's annoying. This is a slight micro mistake again, but that's fine. We'll live with it. Oh, yeah, we definitely can't. Yeah, we can't join this battle. So the zone of control in Camulodunum will prevent us from helping our ally. However, ooh, actually, this army's far enough behind. I'm a little worried about this battle here. Our ally may have made a gigantic mistake traveling in this giant arc around to go fight in Combratorium. That being said, again, ruthless talk here. If our ally actually loses their entire army but severely weakens the Trinavantians, it actually is fine for us and arguably even better for us, because having our ally be weakened isn't necessarily a huge problem for us, right? And having this army be unable to lift our siege of Camulodunum is what we care about. So this may be enough. And also their army is lower on morale. So maybe I'm being a little presumptively worried. We'll watch this battle extremely closely, though. That lower morale may make all the difference. Okay. Oops. Can I see this battle here? Here we go. Battle of Combratorium. So they're starting off actually at very low morale. Their morale was even displaying higher than it should have been. Okay, this will be totally fine. I was worried for nothing. So we're gonna come on in here. Oh, there's a naval battle happening too. That's actually watch the naval battle, because this battle is a sure thing. Looks like the Duratrigans will slightly win. That's pretty good. Extra war score, I suppose. Alright, so now they're gonna go ahead and siege Combertoium. That's fine, because I think, and by the way, Londinium went back into the control of Cumulodunum, because we didn't get it under siege in time. That's a shame, but we killed a population in Londinium, so that's fine. One less population for us to convert later on. Let's see here. So level 1 fort in Cumulodunum, we have them under siege. 30-day siege timers, that's fine. So we will see if Combertoium and the Icenia portion that they'll gain is flipped to our control later. If not, we'll just wait for it to be. Cumulodunum was the less likely one to get flipped by that process, so it's better we siege Cumulodunum anyways. Occupied by Duratriga. Let's watch that and see if that changes color to be occupied by us. Now we're going to just start the siege, and looks like Duratriga may come help us in the siege. So that's nice of them. Although now we're going to have supply problems. How much supply do we even have here? Well, I guess it's the siege supply malice, not really. Yeah, we're fine, actually. We have enough food. So because of the food system, it's not really smart to have your levy out for like a really long time or in a really distant fight, because you're going to run out of food. Levies don't... Unless you have a super large population that spawns a large enough levy to start with a supply train, your levy will have supply problems for a long time. So this army definitely cannot break the siege with everybody here, so we're pretty safe to stay here. Oh, we had twins. Twin boy and girl. That's exciting. Did not even know that I was pregnant. Whoops. I probably should have checked that, but that is what it is. My tribal chief, a son has been born. Gonna name him Donis. That's fine. And Venoma for the daughter. That is exciting. Let's take a quick look at our children here. She's actually leading the soldiers as well, so she gave birth at the siege camps. That's quite intrepid of her. So anything interesting here? Perfect health for you, and perfect health for you. Nothing too exciting to look at quite yet. We'll just leave that alone. So good to see that. I think once we take Cumulodunum, then Duratriga is likelier to give us control of this location. In the meantime, though, we'll take Cumulodunum and then go destroy the remaining Trinovantian army. So sieging is just a waiting game. Of course, if we had a navy, we would be able to blockade them, but they don't have a port, so I don't think it actually would have made a big difference either way, to be fair. All right, Duratriga, do the right thing. The war is over this territory. You know you should give it to us. Duratriga, to be fair to them, they actually have helped out a fair bit, I suppose. The main thing they did that I noted earlier was they were distracting the AI for Trinovantia and keeping their soldiers kind of scared and stuck here. So that was quite useful for them. For us, I should say, rather. All right, let's see. The Clan Council speaks. Okay, so now, by the way, we've reached the 1-year mark, and this is the end of that mission. Rhetoric and debate have raged for a full year. The Clan Council of Icenia has reached a final stance on the matter of Britannia. Drawing a sharp breath, the herald recites, "Protect the weak of Britannia." Now, this is the peaceful outcome, which doesn't actually affect the claims you get, so it's not really that peaceful. The main thing it does, though, it gives you sort of peace-oriented bonuses and a war score cost malice. The war score cost malice is a little annoying, but the +4 dip rep is really solid, and actually indirectly is better, I think, for an aggressive stance, because having a good dip rep will help you keep the relations with your neighbors solid enough that they don't necessarily form a bunch of alliances against you. So we're going to go ahead and grab that there. And if we look at the mission tree, the other things we can do, these involve controlling. So into Britannia would be the next one, because this is once we take this land and also Kantiakia. But then the other ones are like settle Icenia, so having 3 cities in Icenia. That's basically, that's not doable, essentially, as a tribe. These are really hard to do as tribes, so these infrastructure ones we may not get to. That's fine. Anyways, by the way, who's the siege leader? Duratriga. I don't like that. Hold on. Why are they the siege leader? I was here first. Okay, I'm not really sure why Duratriga is the siege leader. Maybe because they have more soldiers. Either way, they should give it to us, because we're the war leader, and also the one who had the claim. So once we take this land, we'll just wait for Duratriga to grant us control of these occupations. Duratriga shouldn't want this territory at all up here in Icenia, because they don't border it, so I think it's just a matter of time, and the AI will kind of get it together. But anyways, in the background, of course, all of our modifiers are ticking up. Nothing too exciting to look at there. Alright, this is going to be a bit of a long siege, unfortunately. But we have the manpower to sustain it. Our manpower has not really been affected too much by the war, so that's good at least. Alright, Duratriga. Hand us control, please. That would be nice of you. Also, the UI often overlaps with itself, and that's a little annoying. Ah, well. Wait for the siege phase timer to finish up here. 35%, come on. Let's get a good roll here. Nope. Supply shortage. Ah, well. I'll have to keep waiting. I'm annoyed that they're the siege leader. I suppose they do have the larger army, so they kind of... Wait, hold on. Interestingly, okay, they gave us the two provinces... They gave us occupation of these two, but not of the capital. That's very weird. Maybe the capital will follow shortly, but they're on the right track, so they know about giving occupation control, so that's good at least. Hopefully they... Oh, there we go, okay. Whew. Okay, a big sigh of relief from me on that one. I was a little bit worried that this would be a big issue, so at least at the very worst, we will get the war goal of the rest of Icenia. Ideally, they also give us Camulodunum and this province too. And we will wait for them to do that if they don't do it right away. I think they will do it eventually, though. So I'm annoyed that they snuck in to get the Camulodunum siege, but it is what it is. We have an ally in this war. Sometimes it can't be helped. Speaking of which, the siege of Camulodunum is won. My tribal chief, the siege of Camulodunum. The siege has lasted 242 days before the garrison finally succumbs to hunger and disease. Duratriga now controls the province. The garrison was allowed to march out, and the general for Duratriga gained some popularity, and the... let's see here. Is that... yeah. So the Duratrigan capital took one population as a slave, so that's fine. Let's wait for them to give it to us, and in the meantime, we will have to go and fight in Ponte. So let's go over to Londinium. Now we also control the fort very critically, so that's good. Okay. Duratriga knows what's up. They have been watching this Let's Play, and they know how much I care about my strategy of getting all of Cantiakia. So they have given us control of the settlement. That's very good. Now we're going to get these other settlements, and we'll get Pontus once this army is destroyed. But first, though, we may be able to get away with it before the army is destroyed. Would they accept a peace deal right now? Yes, they would. Okay, this is what I was hoping. Now, it may be advantageous to destroy their army. However, here's the key thing. This army, if we take this deal, we get Trinovantian Icenia to Icenia and Trinovantian Cantiakia to Icenia. All of these places would be included. And just to be sure, it would include Pontes. Yeah, so this would, I believe, be everything we need. And the key thing here is that those 2,000 soldiers are actually the population of Trinovantian Cantiakia. If we destroyed them in this big battle, which we could do here in Pontes, first of all, it would be a river battle, and we'd be the aggressors. That wouldn't be ideal. And so it wouldn't be a super clean, big victory. But the other problem is we'd be destroying 2,000 levy size worth of population that we would just get from winning the war right now. So we're going to go ahead and click this button. This should give us Pontes. I don't know why I'm worried about this, but because it's... let's see here. Should be fine. Should be fine. Sue for peace. Okay, we're good. My tribal chief, the Prytania local power of Trinovantia, accepted our generous peace offer. Terms, Trinovantian Icenia to Icenia, and Trinovantian Cantiakia to Icenia. The Trinovantian elite. Okay, here is the big moment of tyrannical behavior from our fearless leader. After a protracted conquest, we have finally routed the Trinovantian armies and laid waste to their lands. During the sacking of their capital, led by the Rodrigans, many important prisoners were taken. Many of them having previously held important positions in the Trinovantian clan council. They now languish in our dungeons, awaiting whatever fate we decide to impose on them. Okay, so we could do our enemies deserve no quarter, which we kill all the Trinovantian major characters. We get some popularity for Donwen, and the Trinovantian culture is super unhappy because we massacred their nobility, and that's for 60 months. We can banish those of class, so important characters are banished. This could create a lot of loose ends. We get an aggressive expansion reduction, which could be useful. We do have a 3.5 aggressive expansion. Not that much, but it could add up, and of course it does have those effects you can see there. So that's an option as well. This will also annoy the Trinovantian people, but a bit less. We can imprison the Trinovantian characters, which will cause Donwen to lose popularity. The Trinovantians are unhappy, or we could decide on a case-by-case basis. However, if you do this, and then you do one of these options for each of the families, you just get a lot of extra malices. So what we're going to do, we're going to imprison the Trinovantian characters, and Donwen will just take the popularity hit. We can deal with it. Imprison the leaders. We have imprisoned a whole bunch of characters. These are all the named characters in Trinovantia, or all of them that survived the war, I should say. If we take a look at our dungeons, let's look in the dungeon section. Here they all are. Now, why did we imprison? And the other thing we can do, let's let a day tick by. There we go. And go ahead and disband our levy. Where is the... No, that's not right. Military. Disband levy. Let's watch our military experience. We're going to get 0.34 military experience. And also, it'll take 4 months until we can raise the levy again. That's completely fine. We do not need to go to war within 4 months, so that's fine. There we go. Very great work, Donwen, a military, triumphant military character. Also, her charisma has increased, I think. I think it was at 9 before, but she got loving as a trait. So, I don't know if she had that before, but for some reason her charisma seems higher than I remember it. Either way, so we now control this great block of territory, and we have this situation here. I will be keeping the provincial capital here in Camelodunum for now because it has the fort. I explained, I think last episode, I don't remember when I explained it, last episode or this episode, that I do not want the provincial capital of any province to be unfortified because it creates a gigantic target for, like we saw with Trinovantia and Combratoium, for enemies to come march in and take it super easily. So we're going to eventually probably actually destroy the city in Camelodunum as well. It's not really a great city location, and sort of move the city to Lindinium, but for now we will leave it alone. I guess we could destroy the city now, to be fair, just to get some, let's see here. One other thing I should look at as well. What's this population here? Cantiacians, Trinovantians. Okay. Now, fingers crossed. You don't even know what I'm talking about here. I'm kind of talking to myself, but let's take a quick look here. The Cantiacians' decisions. Let's see here. Pontes, that's not right. Pontes? Wait, what? No way. I don't believe it. Okay, well, either way. Actually, let me think about this for a moment. I'm thinking about, so there's an entire kind of mini game of culture management in this game, and what we want to do is be very thoughtful about the way we deal with our subcultures. Now, at the start of the game, we didn't need to look at this at all because our entire nation was just Icenia, but now we are multicultural, and unfortunately, because they're all the same Brittani culture group, the colors are the exact same. So, our starting Icenia territory is just Icenia, so no cultural diversion there. We may have a few slaves in our capital that are different cultures. In fact, I can check that right now. No, they're all Icenia as well, so that's fine. Okay, so let's go back over. So you can see as well those. We also have Kantian culture in our section, and then also a bit of Trinovantian culture as well. So what I want to do is actually found colonies and do other cultural stuff. Now, when you're playing a super large multicultural empire, there's a great deal of emphasis placed on managing cultures really carefully to make sure that large cultural minorities are not super angry at you and rebelling. However, here in Britannia, our goal is to actually be a bit of a ruthless cultural homogenist and basically just have a Kenny culture and basically gradually replace everything else with a Kenny culture. Because we're all the same culture group, this is pretty doable. It's harder when it's a different culture group, but because we're all Brittani culture group, we're going to gradually sort of Romanize, to use that term, all of Britannia into a Kenny culture. And in the long term, we're going to want Londinium to be a center of a Kenny culture. But for now, of course, it is all Kantian. And unfortunately, the found Kenny colony option for Kantia is not selecting Londinium, maybe because it's not considered. I'm not really sure why, actually. You'd think it would. But either way, we could select Camulodunum as a colony for the Trinovantians. However, if we look at the culture map again, there is more Trinovantian territory down here. Locations like Novomegas may actually be cities as well as Londinium, and I may want to found the colony in Novomegia, so we'll wait on that. And speaking of waiting, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed the triumphant end to our war. In the next episode, we will be doing a lot of economy stuff because we're going to be trading away the new resources that we gained here. We did gain. Let's reopen this. We gained those extra resources, and we also gained all the resources down here, so we have a lot of resources to work with, and also a lot of prisoners to work with, and we're going to be doing some pretty evil stuff with our prisoners in the sense of making some money from them, which you'll see next time. And with the big influx of cash, we're going to start finally working on infrastructure and basically have a peaceful couple years before our 4-year time limit is up and we can start expanding again. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all next time.